Good morning. This is Joe Wanders, broadcasting from the last flicker of truth before the blackout. Today's transmission is not for the faint of heart. It's for the betrayed, the disillusioned, and the dangerously awake. The illusion of choice. One party, two masks. Let's strip away the theater. The Democrats and Republicans, the so-called two-party system, have played us like a rigged game of good cop, bad cop. One feigns compassion, the other brute force. But behind the curtain, they're reading from the same script, 2016 and 2020. Bernie Sanders was sabotaged not by Republicans, but by his own party. Leaked DNC emails revealed coordinated efforts to derail his campaign. In 2020, despite Sanders leading in early states, establishment Democrats consolidated overnight behind Biden, ignoring polls and grassroots momentum. Supreme Court sabotage. When Democrats held the presidency and Senate in 2016, they allowed Republicans to block Merrick Garland's nomination to the Supreme Court, a move unprecedented in modern history. But when the tables turned, Democrats confirmed Amy Coney Barrett in record time, just days before the 2020 election. Corporate allegiance. Both parties are funded by the same billionaire class. In 2024, 70% of billionaire donations went to Republicans, but Democrats still received hundreds of millions from corporate PACs. AIPAC, a pro-Israel lobby with deep ties to Republican donors, has spent tens of millions targeting progressive Democrats like Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, not Republicans. Post 9/11, the birth of the surveillance state. After the attacks of September 11th, the deep state seized its moment to create the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, a sprawling bureaucracy that traded civil liberties for the illusion of safety. Democrats not only allowed it, they helped build it. Over the years, they've continued to fund and expand DHS's reach, just as they did with ICE. Under Obama, ICE was not dismantled, it was supercharged. Mass deportations hit record highs. And yes, the infamous kids in cages facilities were built and used during his administration. Democrats didn't fight the police state, they helped institutionalize it. Zoran Mamdani's victory in NYC sent shockwaves through the establishment. AIPAC and corporate donors scrambled to fund challengers, while billionaires like Bill Ackman and Elon Musk publicly panicked. The Democratic elite didn't celebrate. They plotted his downfall. Dedicated to changing nothing. As evidence for the past 3 or 4 decades, not one single authoritarian erosion of liberty the GOP forces upon the people has been dismantled, reduced, or even challenged by the so-called Democrat Party. Instead, they wish to manipulate the voters into voting them in for decades to fix a problem that they themselves helped create literally overnight. It is interesting to note how the elite throw the masses a handful of peanuts to hold us over on their forever quest of education, health care, and justice, but can take everything away in the blink of an eye. No, my brothers and sisters, the Democrat Party as it stands today will never fight for you, nor will they ever roll anything back that they've allowed their GOP cohorts to ram through. Ever. The long con. March to fascism. This isn't incompetence, it's complicity. Democrats pretend their hands are tied, whether in power or not. They couldn't codify Roe v. Wade, couldn't pass voting rights, couldn't stop the erosion of labor protections. But they could vote with Republicans on military budgets, surveillance expansions, and corporate bailouts. They fight hardest not against fascism, but against the left. Against those who challenge their donors, their war machines, their Wall Street handlers. They fight harder to protect AIPAC-funded incumbents than to stop the GOP's open embrace of authoritarianism. The media, silent, or worse, complicit. They amplify the panic of billionaires, smear progressives, and ignore the polls that show Americans want Medicare for all, climate action, and economic justice. The call to action. Break the illusion. This is not a drill. It's a reckoning. The GOP is a far-right party. They've embraced Christian nationalism, voter suppression, and corporate authoritarianism. But the Democrats, they're the velvet glove over the same iron fist. The primaries are our battlefield, not the general election. If we want a party that fights for the people, we must show up in historic numbers, not to elect Democrats, but to transform them. Vote out the corporate implants, the AIPAC-funded, billionaire-backed centrists who masquerade as progressives. Replace them with candidates who answer to the people, not the donors. This is Joe Wonder signing off, but before I do, remember, the illusion only works if we believe it. The long con ends when we stop playing. So let's break the mirror, let's take back the mic, and let's make the primaries our revolution, while we still can.
And now you know how the story goes.
Joe Wonders, signing off.